Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, the three-part business plan, how to plan for now business, future business, and financial freedom. To get the most from today's webinar, we'd like you to take really good notes and to please use that Q&A panel there to ask any questions you have at any time during this. So don't stress if we don't get to it right away. We're going to be taking those at the end. If you want to reach us at any time after today's webinar, you can reach us on all social media channels at Darryl Speaks. Darryl is the author of 3 books, all published by McGraw-Hill Publishers. That first book you see, How to Become a Power Agent in Real Estate, is actually one of the best-selling books on Amazon to real estate agents. Darryl was also named by Risk Media Magazine as one of the top newsmakers for 2021 in the Big Hearted and Brave category. And he is the recipient of the coveted CSP designation, which has only been conferred to less than 2% of speakers worldwide. On that note, Darryl, we're super excited to hear what you have to share today.
Thank you, Julie. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to today's webinar, 3-part business plan. A couple of things I want to cover with you before I get into the content. The first thing, some of you, this is your first time to our weekly webinar, so you might have the question, is this webinar a sales pitch? It is absolutely not. I hate when you go to something and you expect it and you don't get what they tell you. So you're going to get a tremendous amount of value, but I do want to be transparent. This weekly webinar is actually a weekly training that we do for our power agents. So for some of you that are on this call, there's a big group of you that are power agents, and then there's some of you that we call our guests. We're very happy that the guests are here. You're going to get a tremendous amount of value. But guests, from time to time, I'm going to be having like a sidebar conversation with our members, our power agents. I'll be pointing to the website, showing them something, where to find it in the program. Don't get frustrated. Pay attention to the content because there's a tremendous amount of value here for you today. For those of you that are not even familiar with what the Power Agent program is, real quickly in 60 seconds, it's our monthly membership. We locked the price in at $47 during the pandemic. People that sign up, they are locked in at that price for life. But if you're a guest and you want to try it, you can for just $5. It's probably a great Christmas or holiday present to give yourself. You have complete access to the entire site. You'll cancel anytime, but really, I'll tell you, for that $5, you get a tremendous amount of bonuses. And those bonuses are on the screen right there. Everything is almost valued at $2,000. Plus, you'll get a copy of this recording. You'll get a copy of the slides. You'll get the business plan that I'm going to talk about during this. All right. Now, with that said, let me just talk to the power agents for a second. And guess I do want you to hear this part especially. Power agents, we just made for you a power agent code of ethics that you can use to help brand the fact that you're a power agent when you're on listing appointments, talking to buyers. I think this is and I know NAR has an incredible code of ethics. So we created our own for the power agents in addition. But the one that I want everybody to see is pretty cool. The one section right now is that first article. It may be a little blurry, so I'm going to read it really quick. This is actually from the research that I found in the Webster's Dictionary, first published in 1828. It defined what integrity was. And here was the definition of integrity: the entire unimpaired state of anything, particularly of the mind, moral soundness or purity, incorruptness, uprightness, honesty. Integrity comprehends the whole moral character, but has a special reference to uprightness in mutual dealings, transfers of property, and agency for others. Ladies and gentlemen, the original definition of integrity in Webster's Dictionary, it was our industry. And so part of our commitment is to bring that really on the forefront with buyers and sellers and let them know that how important integrity is and what it means to us. All right, so that goes on. One second and last thing for the power agents, I want to remind you that we gave you this flyer called 11 Reasons to List During the Holidays. Use this on your listing appointments. I'll tell you where you'll find it. If you go into the portal, Webinars on Demand, where you have access to all the training that we've been doing every week this entire year, along with the copy of the slides, there is a webinar that we just did a few weeks ago called the top 10 reasons. Now the flyer says 11 because we threw an extra one on the flyer. So, and I taught the 11. So, but it was top 10 originally. And anyway, so it's there for you. Okay, let's get into this business planning. Everybody strap in, take a deep breath. If you are listening to me, let it out. And let's talk about the 3-part business plan. Some of the webinars that I do for you guys every week, they can go into one or two categories. One is where it's wide, right? Like I'll cover a lot of different things to help you. And then there's some training that will go really deep, specific on one topic. So for example, if I'm talking about calling for sale by owners that expires, that's going deep just on that topic. The listing appointment, deep on just that topic. Today's topic, I'm going wide because I'm going to teach you a business plan that has 3 sections to it. I'm not going deep on each section. That's for you because I want you to decide of the 3, and this is important, I want you to get right now. The goal here is not for you to do everything in the business plan. Some of you, the first part is what you need. Some of you, it'll be the second part. And then, of course, some of you, the third. So I want you to pick what is most important to you in this 3-part plan. Before I get into the 3-part business plan, here's a couple of concepts. I'm going to give you 2 rules of thumb, 2 business rules of thumb that's extremely important in the context of your business plan. Is you got to love what you do. Let me tell you something, gang. When you love what you do, that's how you get energy. When you love what you do, that's how you get energy. See, you can have a great plan, but if you don't have the input, it's like having a great car without any gas in it. It ain't going to go anywhere. You're loving what you do is the gas to your car. We're going to talk about how to build a car today, but you've got to have that passion. When people say to me, Darryl, how do you have your energy? Here's how I have energy. I'm passionate about what I do, and I'm passionate because I love it. One of the things, and the reason why I'm saying this too, not everybody needs to hear this. Come on. Not everybody needs to hear this. Only a handful. So I'm just talking to the people who need this right now. Some of you got to fall back in love with real estate. Do you remember how excited you were when you first got your license? Yes, right? Some of you, it's not there anymore. You got to kind of bring it back a little bit. Now, you'll never get maybe to that level where you were, maybe. But let's increase that passion a little bit. One of my suggestions for those you need to do this is sit down at some point in the next 24 hours and make a list of why you love real estate. Why do you love this business? What does it do for you? What do you do for other people? How is it? Because this is really, you are your own business. You get to dictate how much money or not that your business is going to generate. So make a list of why you love real estate so much. I will tell you, for our power agents, the people in our coaching program, one of the things that they love about our program is that there's 2 mottos that we have for power agents. And I would like just not even power agents. I love our whole industry, our guests, everybody to maybe look at this and take this on as a philosophy of real estate. Power agents coach people. They don't close people. And power agents, they serve people. They don't sell people. See, one of the things, and the reason why this is important, I'm just going to take a minute to say this, is that what happens for agents who get into real estate is that it's exciting. There's like real estate, homes, memories like that, right? And then we take some training that's about closing and commissions and convincing and we start to change. And it's like, I don't want to be a salesperson. I don't want to be a hard sell. I don't want to close people. Let me tell you something. I don't want you to close people either because people don't like to be closed. I don't care what it is, what industry. No, people like to be coached, educated on how they can make an informed decision. People want to be served. They don't want to be sold. So let's take on that thinking about serving, not selling, and coaching and not closing. And we're to maybe talk a little bit more about that. And the second thing is you got to know your numbers. As far as being a good business plan, being a business person, is you've got to know your numbers. So one of the things I want you to do is assess your goals and your finances. And I'm going to give you some suggestions on that right now. One of our power agents, Michael Ardelina, I see there's a lot of Long Island people on the call as well. So Michael, he came into real estate And in his first year, he became a power agent. And he was still learning real estate. But here's the thing about Michael. Michael came to real estate from corporate America. I'll never forget a conversation we had. He said, Darryl, where I used to work in the corporate culture, we are thinking like business people, how to run a business, how to be profitable, et cetera, et cetera. So he came into this industry not thinking, watch this, as a salesperson, but as a business person, marketing himself, branding himself, things that we're going to talk about. One of my favorite television shows, if you haven't seen it, a good friend of mine was just on The Prophet. Marcus Lemons, he says, this is a quote from him, love this quote, if you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. I took a course with Goldman Sachs just before the pandemic. It was an MBA type of program. It was 4 months. And I'll never forget, one of the modules that they were teaching us was our money, our reading, our spreadsheets and stuff. And I'll never forget what she said. She's the teacher. She said, the spreadsheets, the P&Ls, the cash flow, that will tell you a story about the company. And we did this exercise where we looked at spreadsheets of different companies to try and tell their story. It was such a great part of the program. My point here is that your numbers tell a story about you and your business. You got to know your numbers. Now, I'm going to show you a very simple business plan. This is one that is basically taught in almost every real estate class, and you can do this. If you're a numbers person and you want to know and have a business plan that's just numbers-based, here you go. What I'm going to teach you after this is going to have a little bit more depth outside of numbers, okay? So first of all, let me explain the top right over there. There's four areas of money to look at. There's your personal survival money that you need. That's the money that you use to pay your personal bills to break even. So that's why it's called survival money. Your second is your business money. How much money do you need just to cover your business expenses? The third is your income tax, which for a lot of us, we don't have a line item for that, and you need to, because you know what that's like. You're trying to get caught up. Number four is miscellaneous. That's the total money commitment that you need, and that's just to break even. Now, what you do after that is you want to put on your growth money. So if it's a break even of, let's say, $40,000, but you have a next level where you want to buy investment properties, get debt free, etc., you need to put that money on top. The next thing is you take that money, you divide it basically, and I'm not going to stay into this too much because we're going to get onto the 3-part business plan. But you take your average commission divided by that number, and 75% of it should come from listings sold, 25% working with your buyers. Then you break it down even further and say, all right, well, how many listings do I need to get in order to accomplish this ultimate goal? And based on that, how many listing appointments do I have to go on? And basically after that, how many calls I have to make? This is a basic, easy business plan that, again, is taught in almost every real estate class, and it's self-explanatory. But we're going to go a little bit deeper here. We're going to do something a lot of you have never seen before unless you're a student of ours, and that's the 3-part business plan. This 3-part business plan is really in depth, and I'm going to pull from this. This is a workbook that we give our power agents. And by the way, guess, I'll tell you how you can get this whole thing we'll talk about this at the end. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull from the 43-page business plan and go through each one of these. Now, the reason why it's 3-part, watch this. You'll see it. It says it in the subtitle. There's now business, future business, and then financial freedom. So let me clarify. Some of you right now watching this, you need some now business, right? You're struggling. Business is not going well. Come on, just keeping it real. Let me actually break it down for you. So your now biz plan is for those of you that need money urgently. Okay, you need some business in the next 30 days. Then there is the future business plan. Now, the future business plan is for the agents on the call that already have a steady flow of business. You've got some deals happening in the pipeline. You've got some listings. You've got a couple of calls. So you have cash flow. You're getting your bills paid. You're going to bring your business to the next level. That's future business. And then there's some of you where you've really got a successful business, and now you're talking about financial freedom. I'm going to go through each one of these as an overview. So let's talk about the now plan. The first thing I'm going to talk about in the Now business plan, what you need to do is make sure you improve your listing conversation, because part of you generating business now, you've got to master the listing conversation. You'll notice we call it listing conversation, not listing presentation, because our power agents are about serving, not selling, about coaching, not closing. So it's a conversation. It's not a presentation. People don't like to be presented or sold. Now, but here's the big question. Why not talk about prospecting first? Darryl, you're talking about now. Why are you talking about listing is the first thing? Because I'm teaching in order of importance. Here's why. Because if you don't have a strong listing conversation, you're not going to prospect. Some of you, you're like, I don't know what to say on the listing appointment. So subconsciously, you sabotage yourself. Like if you're calling somebody to get an appointment, you're almost hoping you don't get the appointment, because if you get it, it's like, oh my God, what am I going to say? But if you are passionate about something you want to communicate to homeowners to help them get into their next level and selling their property, you're going to want to get on the phone more, because you know it's about helping people. See, when you be it about helping other people and you're committed to helping other people, you'll push past the I don't want to, I don't feel like it, this is uncomfortable. Some of you got to get more committed to a vision. That's what's holding you back. All right, so let's get back to this. Let's talk about the listing appointment. Again, I'm going wide, gang. I'm not going deep. I can spend a whole hour just teaching this one slide that's in front of you. Power agents, we teach them to be more authentic on the listing appointment. We're not fans of memorized scripts, because the problem with memorized script is what happens if the other person doesn't know their part. Be nice, you go on a listing appointment and say, here's your part, here's mine. So we want power agents to be authentic, to talk from your heart and not your head. That's why I use the acronym REAL. The first part of the listing appointment is you build rapport with the homeowner, because right there, that's 50%. People list with people. If they like you, you're halfway home. So focus on getting that connection, building that rapport. Engage them now in the conversation. How you do that is through asking questions. Once you ask them the questions, you'll find out what they're committed to. Now you're going to give them some advice on how to get to their next level. This is where you talk about what you do to help your clients get to their next level. You talk about MLS, yard sign, lockbox, feature sheets, the whole 9 yards. This is the meat of the conversation. And then you list and leave and get out of there before they change their mind, as I like to joke. That is the overview of the listing appointment. Now, let me just give you some nuggets. I'm going to go a little deep now, just a little bit on this part. Part of what you need to do on the listing appointment is get really good at validating you, especially in this market, because we're still in a hot market. Some markets are shifting. We did a webinar about that just a couple of weeks ago. You've got to establish value for yourself. One of the things I'm going to recommend you do, because I can't get really deep on the listing appointment on today's webinar, so I want to leave you with this little suggestion. Everybody, I recommend that you write down 5 marketing tools you're passionate about. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen. When you go on a listing appointment, you can probably, how many hours does it take you to get licensed in your state? New York, I think it's 70 hours. I forget. So let's say it's 70. You can't do a 70-hour listing appointment. You can't teach them everything that you learned to get licensed. So what I want you to do is when I do training, when I do seminar, I have a client just called us, hired me to come do a live seminar for their board of realtors in Pennsylvania. They're going to have me speak for an hour. Do you know that I could speak and train nonstop for 3 days, 9 to 5? Just take bathroom breaks. That's it. Nonstop. That's how much content I have. If I'm only going to do an hour, what hour am I going to do? I'm going to do the hour I'm most passionate about, the one that I enjoy the most, because that will come through in the conversation when I'm doing my thing for the audience. Same thing for you. What I want you to do is think of it, because you got lockbox, yard signs, feature sheets, your company website, company tools, you got a lot. Sit down and say, what's the 5 that I love, and start with that. Now, if they're not deciding after those 5, then you continue your conversation, but always lead with your most passionate. One of the things I'm also going to suggest that you do is get good at stories, metaphors, analogies. That's how we teach power agents not to use memorized scripts. How to talk from your head, not your heart. I'll give you an example of one. When a homeowner says, bring me a buyer and I'll pay you a commission. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Hana, here's the challenge with that. Let's pretend that your daughter's getting married and you want to have the best wedding cake at that wedding. And what you do, you decide to go to 6 different bakers. And you say to each baker, listen, I want the best wedding cake that you guys can make. So what I'd like you to do is I want you to bake me the best cake for 100 people, 200 people. Now, whichever cake is the best cake, that's the cake I'm actually going to buy. Here's my question, Mr. and Mrs. Hanahana. How many of these bakers are going to roll up their sleeves, spend the money, their time, and energy to bake you a cake? Nothing. Why? Because you haven't committed to one baker, telling them you've got the job. It's the same thing in the real estate industry. When you tell agents, bring me a buyer and I'll pay you a commission, you don't have any one agent rolling up their sleeves, spending their money, their time to market your property at the highest possible price. And it's even worse than that. See, if you were going to go to court, would you hire an attorney? Would you go by yourself? No, you would hire an attorney. And attorneys don't hire attorneys. The reason why is because you've heard that expression, attorney represents himself, has a fool for a client. So if you were going to court, you would certainly have an attorney. Let's say the person who's suing you, they say to you, you know what, I need you to pay for my attorney fees. Before the court decides, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't pay the person who's suing you their fees. Why? Because it doesn't make any sense. And you certainly wouldn't go to court represent yourself. Well, in this scenario, that's exactly what's happening. See, when you don't have an agent representing you, it's like going to court representing yourself. And on top of that, any agent that does come to your house, does show your house, they're representing the buyer. So what you're doing is you're paying a licensed, trained agent to work against you, not work for you. If you're willing to at least pay the selling side, why don't you pay the other part to have representation yourself? Now, here's the point, gang, and I'm trying to make, is when you're using metaphors and analogies like the 6 baker technique, could you all do that? Absolutely. Did you have to memorize script? Nope. Some of you just heard it for the first time. The attorney representing yourself, you don't do that. You could probably go do that yourself without a memorized script. That's the power of metaphors and analogies. Now, let me share this. You can take metaphors and analogies and put it into 2 categories. You've got your handling objections, like we have a friend in the business. The other broker told me they can do it for less commission, yada, yada. Then there is marketing tools. So when you talk about how you market properly, when you talk about MLS, yard sign, lockbox, you use metaphors and analogies to explain it. So, for example, when I'm talking to a homeowner about marketing, I say, Mr. And if I'm talking to a FSBO, which is my specialty, I say, the reason why being a FSBO is not a good idea for you, there's many, but here's one of them. See, trying to catch a buyer is like trying to catch a fish. As a homeowner, imagine you're sitting out in the lake with a fishing pole. You throw a line in the lake to catch a fish. That's marketing. So when you put an ad on the internet, for example, about your house for sale, that's a fishing line. When you put a for sale sign on your front lawn, that's a fishing line. So as a for sale by owner, you're throwing out these lines to try and catch a fish. Mr. and Mrs. Hanahana, here at Power Realty, we don't use fishing lines. No, I want you to imagine a huge fishing trawler going out into the ocean, throwing a big net into the ocean and bringing all these buyers on board. That's the type of marketing that we do. That's the kind of the tools that we have. And because of that, we have so many buyers that come on board. And these are real buyers, by the way. You can be more selective. You can pick the best fish or the best buyer. Which is better, to have one buyer wanting to buy your house that you caught on a line, or is it better to have 10 fighting to buy your house? With me, you're going to have 10 people fighting for your house. Now, here's something else. So anyway, gang, metaphors and analogies. I don't have time to teach everything. Like I said, we're going wide today. I'm still in the now section of the business plan, and I still have to do the other 2. My point here is I want you to get good at the listing conversation, because if you need now business and we're going to get listings, you have to master that. Now, here's another suggestion I have, is breaking the ice, having something to break the ice when you're on that listing appointment. Now, I'll give you, for instance, some of the things that we give our power agents. And it doesn't have to guess. It can be anything. When you go on that listing appointment, it's a good idea to bring some kind of gift to break that ice. You know, for power agents, we wrote this incredible book when they have children. It's called the Easy Move Guide. And the reason why is here at Power Headquarters, we have passion for children for a bunch of reasons. And one of the things that we learn about children in selling a house or moving, even for buyers, it could be a traumatic thing for children. They may not be able to articulate it. So we created this guide on how to make a move for children more of a game, like to gamify the experience to help lessen the stress for them. And so I think this is a great gift. Another one that we have for the power agents is the seller's guide, to give them an overview of the whole process of selling your house. I know one of our power agents, I don't know if she's on the call, I remember her saying she loves this, Joanne Mills. She prints it out in full color and gives it at a listing appointment to break the ice. So again, it doesn't have to be these items, but gang, have something that you can give as a gift to people that you can customize it. You can put your name on it, like our stuff, you can customize it. It makes it look like you wrote it. Another one of our things for power agents, gang, is a home seller security checklist. Now, this is good because if you're on a FSBO appointment and if they decide to continue this path of being a for sale by owner, they are putting them. I'm not trying to scare people to listen. It's a fact, man. It's would you imagine getting on a plane and traveling and there was no TSA? I mean, it might make getting on the plane quicker, but when you have TSA going through the security line, checking IDs, making sure that they're not bringing any weapons on board, can you imagine that all gone? I wouldn't want to get on that plane. Now, unfortunately, for sale by owner, that's exactly what it's like. You see, for us, we're like the TSA of real estate for homeowners. We make sure that no one goes into a house that isn't belong to be there, right? By the way, I just used an analogy, the TSA analogy. Again, gang, the power of analogies is that when you hear it for the first time. The TSA, you all can probably go do that. The fishing pole technique, you probably can do that after this webinar. The 6 Baker technique. Look at all the things that you just learned and you didn't have to memorize a script. Come on now. That's powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. I love metaphors and analogies because it empowers you to talk from your heart, not your head. So you go on any kind of appointment, you're trying to remember a script, then you're trying to do it. You can't, it's called human being, not human doing. You can't do a script. You got to talk from your heart. I don't have any notes here. I'm talking to you from my heart. That's what a listing appointment should be. Does that make sense? Metaphors and analogies. All right. This, by the way, this predictions, guests, you're going to get a count. Let me show you guests at the end of the webinar. If you decide for the $5, you're going to get this email to you immediately after the webinar. You're going to get an hour on how to do the listing appointment, metaphors and now. You're going to get the slides. You're going to get 2022 predictions that you can also use on the list. But plus, we wrote out 184 things that we do to earn our commission. And I'll tell you, our power agents, what they tell us about the 184 is that it gives them confidence. Like reading it, you're like, darn, I should charge more. So it's a good confidence booster as well. Not only that, but it's a good marketing tool to use with sellers. All right. Next thing is get super organized. Super organized. I'm still talking about the Now Business Plan. So master the listing appointment. Second thing is get super organized so you can get focused. A lot of people are talking about that. How do I get organized? Let me give you some suggestions. One of our power agents, Marie Lynn, she was going through a real challenge in her life when she became a power agent. And she went from 60 grand, 209, opened up her own brokerage, really breakthrough. And she'll tell you it's because she learned how to stay focused and be organized. I want to share with you some of the things that I know Marie learned and we teach our other power agents. One is I'm a big fan of RedX. For those of you who don't know, RedX is the best way. What they do, here's what it is. I'm going to really simplify it. What RedX does is they don't create leads for you. So a FSBO is already out there. Like right now, while you and I are doing this webinar, there's somebody that's trying to sell the house right now. There's expireds. There's pre-foreclosure. So there's these homeowners that are waiting to be listed. And what RedX does is they go out and get all the information and they put it in this organized system and say, here's all the FSBOs, all the expireds and in your neighborhood, in your community, in your county, whatever you put in that you sign up for. To me, it's the best tool out there for agents. If you want to be a listing agent, you have to use it. Now, power agents, you know, you got a special power agent pricing where you don't pay for a month and you don't pay the setup fee. You got a great deal of power agents, all right? Guest, look into Redx, an incredible piece. Here's the other thing. You got to have a CRM. Now, what is a CRM? I need to say that because, listen, some of us have the curse of knowledge. Like when you learn something and it's like a part of you, and then you think like everybody should know what CRM stands for. And I'm always still surprised. I'll have agents say, what is a CRM? Honestly. So I need to talk to those people for a second. A CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management Software, meaning that the reason why it's relationship is because you have two contacts in the CRM and they may be related somehow, like maybe one's a buyer, one's a seller, and da-da-da. So anyway, it's a place that you keep all your leads. I like to call it, it's customer clients really matter. This is another way of saying, or keep reminding me, because it's a reminding tool and there's a little play on the K and the C, of course. So just to give you some screenshots, because for power agents, we have this thing called Power Builder, but there's other ones. There's Top Producer, there's Wise Agent. So there's a bunch of them. This is what I know about ours that we have for power agents that need a CRM. They don't have to. If they have one already, great. But if you don't, we have that available. There, first of all, it tells you how to manage your time. It says, all right, here's all your clients. Here's all your to-dos for today, what you've got to do. You check it off. You get rewarded. Your CRM should have a newsletter that goes out, a set and forget, an e-newsletter, right? So that's what you want, written for you, mail merged with your contact, goes out to your list. It should have a website that's connected to it. So that way when people log into the site or they fill out a form saying, I want this free report, like one of the guides that I showed, like the 2022 predictions or the seller's guide, if you advertise that, people are filling it out on the site. They're actually entering their information into your CRM. That you have set and forget campaigns. Like, for example, when you have a closing, gang, that closing should generate a series of to-dos after the closing. So right after the closing, maybe there's an email that says, congratulations, it was great working with you, yada, yada. Then the next one might be a mailing piece that goes out a month later. So it's been 30 days. I hope all is well. If you need anything, I'm here for you. Here's a little gift as well. In other words, for the next year, you're staying to, that's an example of an automated campaign. Set and forget. It's like flipping a switch and it happens automatically. Also, it should have goal setting in it, right? So make sure your CRM has goal setting. Now, let me just tell you something, gang. Some of you watching this is what's great about this time of year doing the training, is that some of you have CRMs and you don't know how to work it, right? Like it's like you use like 5% of it, right? So during this time of year, this is the time to maybe sit down and like learn it a little bit more. There's probably so much power in there that you're not tapping into, okay? So some of you write that down as part of your goals. Don't forget to add your orphans into the CRM. I'm going to cover what that orphan is really quick. Orphans are people who bought or sold real estate through your company, and the agent who did that transaction no longer works for your company. So they're a past client of the company, but there's not an agent who's been assigned to to get in touch with them and service them and then just stay in touch. So ask your broker for the closed deals where the agent doesn't work there anymore, and ask him if can you just follow up and say hello and introduce yourself and see, maybe shake the trees. Maybe there's some listings there. The next thing for now business. So we're talking about getting organized, gang. We're talking about listing appointment, fixing that. Make sure in your prospecting you have solid dialogue that works for you. Now, we don't teach scripts, we use dialogue. There's a difference. Dialogue is a framework where you can customize. I'm a big fan of telephone stuff when it comes to now business. Future business mailing, we'll cover that later. Here, so let's talk about power agents. By the way, when you go to the prospecting tab, you're going to see all of the dialogue for calling FSBOs and expireds and past clients and da-da-da-da. And by the way, the guest today, if you decide you want to kick the tires for the $5, you're going to actually get the 12 best dialogue, which is FSBOs, expireds, past clients, farm telephone calls. So anyway, another gift for you guys. Okay, commit to a schedule. So make sure you have good dialogue and commit to a schedule. Some of you are really into working out. I'm not, be honest, I'm not like that. My idea of a good workout is I fill up the bathtub, I pull the plug, and I fight the current. That's me working out. Anyway, those of you that are really into working out, you know what I'm talking about. You don't fit working out into your life. You fit your life into the working out. In other words, everything works around the commitment to working out. Because when you don't work out, I know you feel lethargic. You feel something's off, right? Everything listen, how powerful what I'm saying. Everything works around the commitment to your working out. That's it. You want to do the same thing with prospecting. I'm going to give you a couple of suggestions to be consistent and create a habit and become addicted in a positive way to prospecting. There's two ways to do it. You pick certain days of the week that you would do it. Let's say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday around dinner time. So every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you go to the prospecting gym. You see how I did that analogy there? Prospecting gym, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Or you can do 2 to 4 phone calls every day where you're calling a seller or you're calling a buyer, prefer seller because I want you to be a listing agent, right? And do that consistently. You can always listen. You can squeeze in 2 calls a day. You can do it after this webinar. Come on now, you can do that. Just 2 calls. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be good. Listen, you need now business. We got to get going over here. Use motivational devices to help you stay focused on your business. Power agents, you have the dot board and the vision board. You know the vision board. You cut out the visions, you hang it up in the dot board. Every time you get a listing, bada bing, you put a dot up. Bada bing, another dot for the. I'm going to tell you, it gamifies your business. Power agents love the dot board. They get crazy for the dot because you're like, I got to get another dot. Let me tell you something. Here's a little tip. I'm going to show you one of our power agents, Mary Crawford. She said she did her best year, her and her partner, they did 30, and they said it was because of the dot board, 32 dots, and the year wasn't even over yet. Now, I'm going to give a tip for everybody. If you decide to do a dot board, which let me just go back to the columns. Listings, sold, sales, so you're not confused. Listing sold is one of your listings went into contract. Sales is a buyer side. You took a buyer out, you showed a buyer a house, and the buyer went into contract. That's the sale column. If a buyer buys your listing, bada bing, you got 2 dots. Now, here's my suggestion. Let me go back to Mary's. What I suggest you do, this is powerful, is take a dark colored dot, like blue, something dark, deep blue, and put all the dots up for this past year. Then in this coming year, you put a nice bright dot, orange, red, yellow for this year. So that way, month to month, you can compare this month over last year at the same time, and you can challenge yourself. So the game is to get 1 more dot than you did last year at the same time. Okay, here's another thing I suggest you do is come up with, now Warren Buffett taught me this. Come up with the 3 most important things you need to do in each category of your life. So if you look at your life like in buckets, your physical, your business, your finances, your health, friends, you come up with, you know what, if I want to have a breakthrough in each one of these, what are the top 2 or 3 items? And that'll help you stay focused as well, gang. I'm just giving you a smorgasbord of ideas to help you stay focused. So that was the now plan. And we're going to go into the next part. Before I do, we're going to do a little, I need to hear this from you guys. Tell me, what did you learn so far that you really like? Like if there was one thing that you really like, do me a favor, use that little Q&A panel over there and write it and say, what have you learned so far? What do you think you're going to implement in your business? We record these chats and it helps us as well because we like to read those and see what's working or not working. So do me a favor, take a moment and just tell us, what have you learned so far that you like? First thing that comes to mind. I like to see that. Here's the next thing, is we're going to talk about future business. So what are we going to do in our future, planning for our future? Stephanie said the dot board. I'm reading these. Jenny, the dot board, the dot board. I'm telling you something. I like to talk people for now business. Commit to a schedule, Susan. That's so important. The accountability helps me. Lucy, very good. I'm telling you, gang, the dot board is gold. The metaphors, Wendy. Yes, metaphors and analogies. You have to train yourself on doing that. You got to get in the habit. I raised my son that way with metaphors and analogies, looking into his life. The best metaphors are when you use the homeowner's work. what do they do for a living? And you use that, whoa, that's gold. The conversation, I like the prospecting Jim Daniel. You must work out when you said that. All right, let's continue. Love this. Keep it coming, gang. I want to see this. Talk from the heart, not the head. Thank you, Richard. That is a Power Agent philosophy here at Power Headquarters. Prince of the Reason. Okay, good. This is fun. Are we having fun? We're learning, aren't we? It's great. Let's talk about future business now. Now, for those of you that you got to get, you're doing good. You've got business happening, but now you want to bring it to the next level. This business plan is 43 pages. And what I'm going to do is just pull from some of those and teach you some stuff right now. What I'm going to share with you, Paul Musil, one of our Power Agents, he closed $14 million his second year. And you can tell he's from New York because it says, if anyone doesn't think he's for real, referencing me, then tell him to call me. I'd be glad to show him my 1099. Go ahead, I dare you, call me. So yes, he's a New Yorker. But anyway, let's go through the future business plan. What I'm going to show you to build a future, like to generate business in the future, there's three things you can do, three categories. There's farming, there's sphere of influence, people you know, people you've worked with, and then there's social media. I'm going to teach a little bit in each one of those. When it comes to farming, you've got to have a system farming campaign. Now, I did a whole webinar for the Power Agents on just the farming campaign, but let me just pull a few things from that 1 hour training. Is one of the things you want to do is establish a niche that you want to focus on. It could be geographic, it could be price range, it could be condos, co-ops, style of home. Come up with a niche. Ethnic. Now, let me just, for the fair housing people on the call, when I say ethnic, it depends, like your culture. You might connect, like Sue Wong was one of the agents in my office, lovely Korean lady, and she knew a lot of Korean. So she focused on working with her culture. So that's what we mean by that. Investors, retirees, first-time buyers. These are all examples of niche. The most common niche when it comes to farming in our business, what is it? Come on, it's the first one, geographic. You pick a neighbor, and there's nothing wrong with that. But my point here is you've got to pick something that you're going to do. Now, don't have time to cover this because if you can just tell from this, what's on the screen, some of you are having an aneurysm like, oh my God, it's numbers. So there's a way that you can actually look at a geographic area based on the turnover and based on the average sales price and based on all of those numbers, which area would be better. Because I get that from agents. They'll say, Darryl, should I mail 200 pieces or 250? Blah, blah, blah. So anyway, we created this whole formula. And Power Agents, there's a video that goes through that calculation. So we're not going to cover that now. I just want to let the Power Agents know, if you're thinking geographic, there's a way to decide from a financial standpoint. The numbers tell a story. Now, once you have your farm, whether it's this area or that area, 200, 500, you want to mail that introductory letter. So that's your first piece. And it should be a letter, not a postcard, because it has more power to it. You're introducing yourself. Dear Hana, just want to introduce myself. I picked this neighborhood. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, gang, that the second paragraph says, as you probably know, our town is going through a renaissance. I love that expression, renaissance, because what the hell does that could mean anything. It could be good. It could be bad. It's a renaissance. So anyway, send out your introductory letter. That's the first thing. Second thing is what you can do. Now, you can keep it very simple. Now, Power Agents, we have a lot of stuff you can mail out. But one of the things you could do that's very simple is just rotate these three letters. Here's what the letters are. Their first letter says, hey, I'm delighted to announce I just sold. So it's a just sold letter. You can do postcards. I like letters better. You can do a sprinkle do some postcards, some letters. There's studies have shown that letters get a higher return on investment because people open it. They're more committed to reading a letter. There's more real estate space to write things. So anyway, you can send out the first letter, which is, hey, I just listed something. Here's an update of all the homes that have sold in the subdivision. Then the third month, you can send out, here's an update of all the new listings and all the sales. Now, here's the power of these three letters. In month 4, you can go back to the first letter. And then you just keep rotating these letters. Now, here's the power of this concept, is if you take a group of people and you keep mailing every month, I just listed or we just sold. You'll notice this letter doesn't say I listed and sold all these homes, but the fact that it's on my letterhead, it creates the perception that I'm listing and selling everything in the neighborhood. So it doesn't have to be complicated. You can just use those 3 letters and rotate them. And man, after a year, you're going to have people calling you. Another thing you should do for the future business in marketing and self-promotion is make sure you map it out during the year. There's a lot of different tools that you can use to promote, market yourself. Don't do it haphazardly. Run it like a business. Say, all right, here's January through December. Let me look at where I'm going to spend my money. If I'm going to spend my money in some social advertising, print advertising, etc. One of the things you can do, newsletters are coming back. Let me tell you something. Social media is a very crowded space. So doing monthly newsletters is another option for you. Free over-the-phone market analysis. I love the free over-the-phone market analysis because it tells people, listen, if you want to know how much your house is worth based on a licensed, trained agent in the state, give me a call. I can do it over the phone. Just answer some questions and give you a ballpark range. It'll make the phone ring. And what will happen is during the call is you build that relationship. And then you say, listen, Mrs. Hunter, if you would like me to give you a more accurate number, I would actually need to see the house, see the inside. I don't mind. I can stop by. I can actually bring over the seller's guide and a couple other things to leave behind for you. So the concept here is over the phone market analysis is to make the phone ring because more people will be out to talking to you if they think that they're not going to see you. Now, remember that seller's guide that I showed earlier? You can use that in farming campaigns as well. You can do that as a door knocker. You can do it as a mailing piece. As a matter of fact, what you can do is actually do a postcard to the farm area and say, hey, listen, I have this 40-plus page seller's guide. It's free. Contact me. What's cool about that is anybody that's going to respond, they're obviously thinking about selling. Or you can take that guide and you can advertise it on social media. One of our power agents, Monica, she said, the support is just click away. When there is a site put together, I really thought of how agents, all right, let me jump to this. I have taken the stress of trying to create a piece from scratch and they are customizable. Awesome. The point that I'm trying to make here, and I'm talking to the power agents for a second, gang, you have over 600 pieces in the Power Program website. And if you go there, you can customize all of that stuff for you, okay? What I'm teaching you is from the farming area. So if you go to farming, you'll see a lot of the mailing pieces and promotion of the letters and all the stuff that I just covered. Okay, let's talk about your sphere of influence. Your sphere for future business, actually it says, I just noticed it says now business. There's a typo, sorry about that. It says now business. We are teaching future business still. You're working your sphere. Your sphere are people that know you, people that you've worked with before. Now, they're past clients. So here are some suggestions. In January, anybody that closed this year, you would send them the HUD form with a cover letter. Power agents, we have that letter for you in the farming tab. But because they got a copy of it at the closing, but they probably lost it and they forgot it. It doesn't matter. It's just another contact for a past client. So that's in January. You can updated CMA in February for people that you sold a few years ago, tax tips, CAC for people who don't know, central air conditioning certificate, negotiate a deal with a vendor. Anyway, there's a bunch. What you should do for past clients, you're going to spend a few dollars in sending them stuff. Another thing, and you don't have to do it every month. This is what I'm just giving you, power agents, is an idea for the whole year. But I would say pick 4 months that you're going to do something for your past clients. Another thing that you can do is you can do door knocking. We call them smile stops. And there's an acronym for SMILE. It's about service, meeting face-to-face. You want to invite them to share. Then you leave behind a token of gratitude, and then you elevate the relationship. Let me give an example of the coming months. So, for example, in January, you can do door knock and stop by and give your past clients fortune cookies with a little note that says, wishing you a good fortune in the new year. Or in February, box of chocolate. I love my clients. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm here if you need me. I love the Rolos. Oh, those are my favorite. I love Rolos. I'm lucky to have you as a client and your referrals. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Oh, actually, this is not supposed to be Rolos, though, Julie, right? I forgot it. That was we changed the Rolos to the little, what was it, the coins?
The gold coins, yes.
The gold coins. I got the Rolos. I guess subliminally I wanted the Rolos.
Subliminally, you wanted Rolos. They're good. I'll give you that.
All right. So anyway, doing some door knocking for past clients. Let's talk about social media is, to me, digital farming. So when I talk about future business, this is like social media is incredible. Now, here's my two favorites when it comes to social media for our industry: Instagram and Facebook. You got Twitter, you got LinkedIn, but for agents, these are my two favorite platforms. Now, let me just give you an example on the power of Facebook and digital farming. This right here is a closed group called Shore and Wading River Community. I saw we had an agent on the call from Shore and Wading River. Let me tell you something. This is like shooting fish in a bowl. Your whole farm area is in this group. Now, here's somebody who said, hey, there's a fall festival. Come on down, right? What you should do is actually, if you're an agent in this area, in Shore and Wading River, you should go down to the event when they posted this. Let me show you something else. I'm looking for an orthopedist for my newly broken foot. Thanks. Now, if I was an agent in Shore and Wading River, I would comment to Lori, oh my gosh, Laura, I hope you're okay. I do have somebody you may want to check out, and give a name. In other words, you treat this group as if you're the mayor of the group. So you want to serve, help. Here, Michelle, she lost her dog, Milo. You know what I would have done as an agent? I would have made a note saying, Michelle, how can I help? You want me to put out fires? Direct message me and I'll meet you and let's see how we can do. I'm putting feelers out, And then when actually Milo was found, look at all the, I'm sorry, let me go back to this. Look at all the likes at the bottom, 168 because Milo was found. My point here is, gang, in your Facebook group, you want to help, serve people looking for recommendations. You give suggestions, Then after you've done 5 to 10 of those, then your mic's still on, Julie. Then you can actually post an open house, for example, right? Be careful. You want to give more than take, because when you post any real estate stuff, people feel like you're taking. I know you're giving information. You want to help people, but that's not how it's perceived. So rule of thumb, at least 5 helps to 1 real estate post, okay? Now, here's something else. For those of you that have a CRM, like power agents that have Power Builder, check with your CRM and see if it offers social media. I don't know of any CRM that does. I know ours does. For power agents, it's a set and forget. You decide which sources of articles, like I'm going to look, CNBC, CNN Money, House Logic, Huffington Post Real Estate. So you can choose where the publication comes from, and then it will automatically post it on your personal page or business page as well. Here's another thing. One of our power agents, she just started posting videos for the first time. Oh my gosh, her name's escaping me. I'm so proud that she did it. She was nervous to do it, and it's powerful. So, and it doesn't, gang, all you have to do is, I encourage you to start doing some video. Here's the tip. Make sure it's consistent. You pick a certain day of the week and do it consistently. Just start off once a week is a great thing. And you just talk for 2 or 3 minutes on stuff you already know, right? So power agents, we try to give you a whole bunch of ideas. Power agents, if you go into the farming section of the Power Program website, you will find those Facebook Live ideas that we gave you. So, which is like 35 videos for you. Okay, so gang, that was future business. We're now going to talk about financial freedom. Before I get into financial freedom, I'm just going to say this. I am not a financial planner. I'm just giving you my opinion. I'm usually pretty good with this stuff, so I feel comfortable giving you what I'm going to give you, but I'm not a financial planner, okay? So here we go. First of all, you got to have the right mindset when it comes to financial freedom, right? You have to shift. One of the things that I suggested you do is you've got to come from this attitude of gratitude. You know, I wrote, some of you know this, one of the 3 books I wrote is How to Design a Life Worth Smiling About. And one of the things that I learned is that when you actually have more gratitude in your life, you will actually see a financial return on that, because you're opening up to possibilities. You're not shutting down from life, so to speak. And so good fortune will follow. Second thing is you want to stay focused on your vision. What are you committed to? If you're ever feeling a lack of energy or passion, it's because you're not in touch with your vision. That's what it's telling you. So tune back into that. Hang around the right kind of people. You know, I love our power agents because they're always so supportive. Nobody's advertising, trying to promote like everybody's it's a beautiful group of people we have. And so you want to be around those people because they'll elevate you. Something my mother taught me. She said, show me your friends and you show me who you are. Come on now. That's some powerful stuff. It rubs off on you, doesn't it? When you're around positive people, when you're around negative people. So here's the last thing. Be an avid learner. You know, one of the things that all successful people have in common is they're a sponge. They're always looking to learn more and more and improve themselves, right? So here's 4 top agent strategies for financial freedom. The first thing is make sure you're creating cash flow from a client base. So the first thing is you get your business humming. That's number 1. Number 2 is you make sure if you have any debt, pay off your debt. When you get to the place where you can pay off your debt and be debt free, my goodness, it is such a great feeling. You feel like you're in control of your life. The third thing is you've got to save. Now, saving, it could be automatic. It'd be $50, but do some kind of savings and have it be automatic. I cannot stress enough how powerful and important that is. And the last is make sure you invest in stocks and real estate. Now, those are the 4 strategies, and you want to try and have all that to have financial freedom. Now, I'm going to shout out to this one company I love called Credit Karma. So some of you, most of you probably have heard of it, but some of you, I know you don't have an account. Do yourself a favor, please. This will help you stay focused on financial freedom because it's kind of tied together. Your FICO score. Set up an account. It's free, and you'll be able to get a good idea how much what your credit score is. Now, there's something that I learned many years ago from Credit Karma. It can take months or years for your score to recover after a late payment or bankruptcy. However, if you can pay down all your credit cards to 30% or less of the credit line, your credit score will improve dramatically. Let me tell you something. It's a gosh honest truth. In the Credit Karma, you can see your accounts, all of your accounts, and your percentage. And the game for you is to get every one of them below 30% of the credit line. And when you do that, you'll have an explosion in your credit score. Here's something else too from CNN Money as far as a savings calculator. I've shared this with anybody who would ever listen because it's very powerful. If you were to invest only $100 a month at an interest rate of 10%, which it's actually, you can do higher than 10% if you invested in the stock market or real estate. But let's just use a low number of 10%. After 40 years of just putting $100 a month in the same investment, you would have over $600,000 just from that little habit of $100 a month. So if you've got less time on this planet than 40 years, because you're a little older or something, then you'll have to kick it up a notch instead of 100 or 200. Here's the next thing. Dollar cost averaging. Now, people get confused by this. I'm going to try and simplify it. It works like this. When you have money to invest, you do not want to try and time the market. Buy low, sell high. That's not dollar cost averaging. Is you take the same amount of money, you buy the same investment vehicle every month, regardless of the price. So it looks like this. If let's say you had $100 that you invested in April and the cost of the stock was $10, you bought 10 shares. Next month, same $100, but the stock went up $15. Well, you're getting less shares. It's now 6.7. And then you do it again. So you're buying, it doesn't matter what the price is. It's always the same every month. That's called dollar cost averaging. And I'm telling you, it is one of the secrets to actually creating financial wealth when it comes to investments. I'm going to be finishing this up over here. And then we're good. By the way, we're going to answer questions. I want you to get ready for questions. I see some questions coming through. So we're going to do the coaching part now. So hang on. And I have a gift for the guests. So hang on there. Here's the best stocks. And I'll just give this to everybody that decides they're a power agent. These, I made a list for you. If you wanted to make investments in, let's say, the Dow and the NASDAQ and SP, here's the best ones to do. If you wanted to do sectors, which for those of us that have some more years in our future, these are great sectors to invest in. Batteries, because everything is going battery with the cars. These are like getting in at a really good price for your financial future. So last thing, as far as resources, Investopia, Invest 101, bigger pockets when it comes to real estate. And what I use is Fidelity to manage our financial retirement and stuff like that. Now, here's the summarize, and then I have a gift for everybody. You got to know your numbers, improve your listing conversation, prospect consistently, get super organized, stay focused, use a CRM, farm systematically, and get your finances in order. Now, here's the special. So I hope you guys, that's the 3-part business plan, the overview. Now for the guests, I have a special. And Power Agents, do me a favor. I want you to shout out, what did you learn on this webinar? Fill it out right now in the Q&A. The guests, I want to talk to you for a second, is if you decide you want to, this is perhaps the best holiday present you can give yourself right now, because for just $5, you're going to have complete access to all of what we give our Power Agents. You can cancel anytime, plus you're going to get a tremendous amount of bonuses. But let me give you the Reader's Digest version of really what this Power Program is. It's going to help you have a breakthrough year in 2022. First of all, every Monday, there's a live coaching call with me. We call it the Power Hour, but it actually goes 2 hours because our commitment is to stay on the call till everybody's questions answered. You call in, I can talk to you, you can talk to me, we can role play, we record the calls. It's a group coaching environment. So some agents tell us they love the Monday coaching calls. It sets the tone for the week. We have these Wednesday webinars, which are recorded. Like the Power Agents, they have access to this webinar. After this webinar, they can watch on their own. They can slow it down. They have this copy of the slides. They can take notes. So it's like a training for them. And we have all of us, I want to say, we've been doing one a week for the past year, I think more than a year. So there's a lot of training available to Power Agents. There's a closed Facebook group that is the best in the industry. I'll tell you why. There's no complaining. There's no ratting out or being nasty to people. And there is no selling or promotion. It's all giving, and helping. It's incredible, that group. The Power Agent website, let me just give you a glimpse of this. This site, when you go in and you log in, there is a dashboard where it tells you where you can go in the program. Now, when you click on Classroom, that's where the magic is. Because what we did is we took real estate and put it into categories: buyers, listing appointment, servicing sellers, negotiating offers. Let's say you needed help in farming. When you click on the farming tab, there's literally over 600 pieces that you can customize. There's flyers, there's mailings, there's letters, there's incredible amount of content you use on a listing appointment. We added a favorite feature so you can take the 600 pieces there and put it into your own little folder that these are the ones that you like. And we've actually now have the Spanish version of all of these things as well for people that's important to them. We use a similar technology as we do with Google, where if you type in, let's say you need help with FSBO, you type FSBO, bada bing, everything FSBO related in the website is there for you, whether it's a training, it's a dialogue, it's a flyer. But now, yes, here's what you're going to get today. You get to keep these bonuses. So we're giving you a Christmas, Hanukkah holiday present. And when you sign up, you're going to get emailed right away a link where you can download 103 PowerPoint slides to use on a listing appointment, along with a video training on how to deliver that appointment, whether in virtual or face-to-face, and you get to keep that. In addition, you're going to get the actual 3-part business plan where you can go through it. I hope you'll become a Power Agent today, because I want you to get it, because so that way you can, while it's fresh in your mind from this webinar, you can start to read through it. In addition, if you're a new agent or an experienced agent that needs to restart your business, we have a little plan for you. It's 29 pages. All right, here's what you need to do. There's more focus on generating now business in that new agent starter thing. You're going to get the secret dialogue of how to call FSBOs and expireds. My batting average is if you call 4 FSBOs, you should be able to schedule 3 appointments, at least 2. So that's in there, along with 184 things that you do to earn your commission. You can use it as a marketing tool, but I think it's also good for you to read to motivate you. There's also how to deal with multiple offers, but this is not for you. This is a guide that you customize with your name, your contact information. You give it to your buyer, you give it to your seller to prepare them on how to deal with this multiple offer situation. It makes you look Really, really super smart. There's also the predictions for 2022 that you can use, not just for yourself, but your buyers and sellers. And if you need, you're going to get the slides, you're going to get a copy of this webinar, also emailed directly to you, along with 30 days of a CRM if you don't have a CRM. So anyway, if you go to our website and you try and buy this stuff, it's going to cost almost $2,000, but you get it and you get to keep it for only for only $5. So we should have probably thrown up that little bubble thing. So you click on that. But right now, I want to hear some comments from our power agents and answer questions. So right now, you have either a question about what we taught today, and I will coach you on that, or you have a question about the power program, becoming a power agent. I'll handle that. We are going to stay on this right now until all questions are answered. So Julie, let's rock.
Let's rock. First of all, where are you getting 10% on savings?
In the stock market?
In the stock market.
It's more than 10%. The average right now is I have to check. I don't want to quote, but yeah, it's if you listen, if you try and get smart with your investments, you won't get it. But if you buy just the ones like DDM that I just said, or SPY, like if you buy those and you do that dollar cost averaging, you're going to see way more than 10%. Next question.
How do I get the slides from today?
Become a power agent. Click on that button, and what will happen is you will get an email right away with all that stuff downloaded.
Perfect. Would you use your business Facebook page to respond to the social media pages and when you talk about the neighborhood social media?
Yeah.
Do you business or personal?
You know, there's I know we have our in-house director of everything digital, and he would probably be better to answer that. But here's what my opinion is. My opinion is that on one hand, the personal, when you post things, you'll get more eyeballs because Facebook's algorithm is that way. But when it comes to you responding and branding and promoting you, I would say do it from your business page. Next question.
Excellent. For listings, in your opinion, what is the lowest hanging fruit? FSBOs?
Yes. What we know about FSBOs and expireds is they want to sell when? Now. Now, some of them, watch this. Some of them, they took their house off the market because of the holidays, which means nobody's calling them, which means because they're not currently advertising or promoting in some way. So that creates an opening for you. I'm going to tell you, gang, the great thing about this time of year, this is when a lot of agents are still in this emotional holiday laying low. So you have less this is the time for you to really work on your business and have an explosion for 2022. Next question.
What time are the coaching calls?
The coaching calls on Monday, they start at 11 Eastern time. And like I said, they go till about 2 hours, till about 1 o'clock.
Perfect.
Oh, and let me tell you something while we're on that. Let me just show you the live Facebook group. I mean, the live Power Agent. When you go to Classroom, right? Let me show this. The coaching calls. When you go to coaching calls, first of all, you can have it automatically schedule in your calendar the calls that are coming up, which is every Monday. We record the calls. We post the recording so you can listen to it later. So these are all the coaching calls that we've done every Monday for the past however long we've been doing it now. So you have access to those as well. Next question, Julie.
Fantastic. Where do we find the dot board? The dot board is a hit today, big time.
Yeah, listen, I love the dot board. This is the time. And listen, don't forget, if you came later to the call, put up your dots all for this year, and next year change the color so you can compare month over month. If you go into time management, you're going to see, there's calendars. There's so much I could have talked about. There's calendars. There's the marketing calendar. There's some really great stuff in here. Here's the dot board. So if you go to chart, everything's alphabetical. There's where the dot board is. There's where the remember I said your top 3 in each one of those categories. Now the dot board that I showed you all, there was the vision/dot board combo. That's the one that I showed you there. But there's one just of the dot board. There's do not disturb signs. This is all in the time management stuff, your net worth, your daily schedule, how to gamify real estate for yourself, play bingo. So in time management is where you're going to find that. Next question, Julie.
Yes. Sorry. Where's the business plan?
The business plan.
So you just got that same place.
Well, where is it? Here it is.
Right there.
So in time management, if you go to business plan, 3-part breakthrough business plan, that's where it is. And then I showed you the 1-page business plan, which was just on the monies. That's right next to it. Now that looks different than what I showed you because we just upgraded the look and I just didn't swap out the slide, to be honest with you. But this is what I showed you. It was this 1 page. You're going to get a copy of the slides. Sorry, let me go back. But on the website, this is what it looks like there. Next question, Julie.
Perfect. Loretta says some investment companies are offering slice investments where you purchase fractional shares of different companies. What is your opinion of that?
Yeah, I don't know. So I've invested in some of those, which is the one that I'm in, Fundraise. God, what's the name of it? It's a real estate one. Anyway, it's fractional investing in real estate. And so far, I've made like the return that I've made on that was 25% in just a few months. So, which is really awesome, but it's not liquid either. So I'm supposed to keep the money in there for a year, and then it's not that easy to take the money out. So I'm still not sure to answer your question. It looks good, but I don't have enough experience to say either way whether you should or not. Next question.
What's the best type of leads to buy from RedX? Expireds, FSBOs, pre-foreclosures? What should I buy first?
I say with RedX, first of all, if you're a power agent, you don't pay anything for 30 days. There's no other place that you get that. We negotiate an exclusive agreement with RedX on that. And so for 30 days, you can try everything. And I recommend that you do that. But ultimately, if you're worried about funds and committing too much financially, the best would be FSBOs, expireds, and houses for rent. Houses for rent. Now that dialogue, let me show you something. If you go to prospecting in the Power Program, there's everything's alphabetical. So when you're in the classroom, you'll see D for dialogue. Here's all the dialogue. Now guess, by the way, you're getting a book of this dialogue. Like we took it out of the website for you and put it into a book, but it's in the website as well. I have a buyer, book of business, business associate, calling around a new listing, door knocking dialogue, expired dialogue, voicemail for expired, FSBO, for rent by owners. The for rent by owners is an area that most agents don't even think about calling because you can turn a house rental into a listing. So that's what that dialogue. So to answer your question, those are the 3 that are the best now business. Next question.
And to get to the RedX as a power agent, you just go into your classroom and there's a RedX button right there, almost in the middle.
Right there.
Right
now,
there.
by the way, power agents, how the classroom is organized is alphabetical. So the concept is, let's say you need help with buyers. Let's say you're weak with buyers, working with buyers. If you go to the buyer section, there's going to be all this support material for you. Oh, I want to show you something here. There's e-guides to give buyers. I'm going to open this up and I'm going to show you 2 things, by the way. So remember I said earlier, we have that easy move for children and why that's important to us. I'm going to show you another piece about children because there was a multi-organization study done about housing and children. Habitat for Humanity, Duke University, etc. They all did this study. And here's what they discovered about children who live in a home that's owned versus one that is a rental. Children have less behavioral problems. Let me zoom this. Let me do this. Hang on. They have less behavioral problems, better English grades, better math grades, yada, yada. So you see it all there on the screen, right? So this is a great piece of, let's say you have a buyer and the buyer is is second guessing. It's their first time purchase. They have a child on the way. They're planning on raising a children. This is a powerful flyer to show the buyers that they're not just buying this house for themselves, but they're buying it for their children. And that will help deal with that buyer remorse. Now, here's one other thing I want to show you. Is everything in the Power Program is customizable for you guys. So you'll see here at the bottom where it says agent information. Do you see how I'm dragging that? Like if I wanted to, and I put my name, whoops, I'm not doing it right. If I want to put my name in it, my contact information, everything. And if let's say you don't like the way we worded something, you can move it and delete it. And so not a lot, all of our content, you can customize it and even edit it. And there's one other thing I'll show you, power agents and guests as well. If let's say we created this flyer. Oh, I love this one. This is a new one we just created. It's the 9 reasons to buy during the holidays. And I want to show you something, and then I'll go back to the questions. I hope this is helping people. This flyer, remember what I said, you can customize it, right? So you can put your photo in it. Bada bing, you put all your contact information, you can delete that. Now, but let's say you wanted to do a post on social media about the 9 reasons to list during the holidays. You'll notice everything just turned gray. I just copied all of that. I can now simply go over to my Facebook page and then just hit paste. And so all of this, the content that we have for you guys is you will not find it anywhere else in our industry. It is loaded with content that you can steal, and I mean that in a positive way, use it and make it your own and promote yourself and yada, yada. So it's like you have a team of writers and marketers in addition to the sales training on what to say, when to say, and how to say when you're belly to belly, face to face with a buyer or seller. So anyway, let's go back to the questions.
Mildred said, in New York, we cannot make cold calls right now because of the governor put us in a state of emergency.
That's okay. Let me, you know what? I'm going to do a video on that, Julie. I was thinking about it the other day. Every New Yorker that's on this call, you absolutely can call FSBOs during a state of emergency. And NYSAR is putting out wrong information. I'm telling you 100% I'm accurate. And I'm not going to get into why, because this is not the platform to do it, but I will do a video for power agents. So power agents, I'm going to do a whole video and share it with you on the Facebook closed group. And just give me a few days to do that. And I'll explain it why. And then you can show it to everybody and anybody. You could show it to the executives over at NYSAR, because it aggravates me. They're putting out bad information for you guys. All right. Now, let me see. Next question, Julie.
Sandra has a friend watching the webinar with her. How does she help her friend get the deal, the $5 deal?
Just tell her to go to DarrylSpeaks.com here. Go there, DarrylSpeaks.com trial. You see it? DarrylSpeaks.com trial. And we'll put that in the chat as well, somebody. But tell her to do it quick, because, you know, it's, when we say we're running the special is just while we're running it. So so she should do it now. I'm going to just show you something else. Where am I? Hang on. Okay. So by the way, Facebook, when you click on the Facebook tab, Power Agents in the classroom, it'll bring you directly to the Power Agent membership closed group. So this is just for you guys. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to post that video about why you can call FSBOs in a state of emergency. And I'll post it here in the group for you. Next question, Julie.
Is there an agent website service available to power agents?
Is what?
Is there an agent website available?
An agent website. Yes, it's part of the CRM. So if you need a CRM and a website, the CRM is separate from the Power Program. So the Power Program is $5 for 30 days right now. That's the trial. Then it's $47 a month. There's no long-term contract. You can cancel anytime. We're not like Netflix, where we're going to raise the money. Like if you're a member now, I'll be honest with you, there's some power agents that are paying less than $47 because they've been a power agent with us for over 4 or 5 years. So they locked in at a lower price, and they will be at that price as long as they're a power agent. So you have an opportunity to lock in at the 47. It will never raise on you. Now, if you need a CRM, which has the website included, that's Power Builder. That's a separate charge. That's $49 after the trial if you need one. Not everybody needs a CRM and a website. So that's a different, because we have an outside company that does that for us. Next question.
Can you talk about the directory?
The directory. The directory. Is somebody asking about the directory, Julie? Or
yes.
Because I want to just get
another question as well.
What's that?
I said yes. Someone
okay. I want to make sure we get all their questions.
I'm on it.
Okay. Got it. Okay, so here's the directory. The directory, I'm going to tell you something. I hate when I see these. These are people that did not upload their photos yet. For shame on them. Now, the directory, we have power agents that are referring business. We're seeing about 4 to 5 deals a month where power agents are giving business to other power agents in other states. I didn't expect the directory to be such a valuable like some agents have been telling us that the 47 a month is worth just to get in the directory. So that's the bottom line on that. So that's the directory.
How much is the CRM?
I just said it, $49 a month. I know. Listen, you're trying to read questions.
I know.
While I'm talking. I get it. It's fine.
Do you have a buyer and seller customer journey template? We just have the one, correct, that we just put up?
Well, we have a few things. So, okay, let me show you. Sell. How do you spell it? Sellopoly.
Yep.
Okay, Opoly. Let me do it this way. Opoly, because if I do Opoly, it'll show up. Now, so first of all, I just want you all to see what I did. Instead of doing the trying to go to Classroom, which you could do, go to Classroom, go to buyers, like try and find what I just showed you. I just typed in the word Opoly, and because Opoly is in these things, it showed up. And there's 2 of them. There's one called the Loanopoly, and then there's the Sellopoly. Now, the Sellopoly, and there's obviously 2 versions of the Sellopoly. Hey. Sarah, I just noticed something. We have are you still with me, Sarah?
I am.
Do you see what I'm seeing here on the screen right now? So if we can take get rid of the duplicate, because we have one that's Spanish, so that's the correct one, and we don't have a Spanish version of the Loanopoly. So
if we postcard and one is the flyer. So yeah.
One, yes, but we need a Spanish version of it as well. Oh, so you're saying that one of these is a Spanish for the postcard and one is on the listing appointment? Okay. Anyway, so the journey, the question about it, the buyer's journey or the seller's journey, the Sellopoly, this is for sellers, right? So this is where you would show a seller, here's the process in selling the house. When it comes to the buyers, that's the Loanopoly one. And so what's cool about the Loanopoly is, I see it. It says postcard. Get it? Okay. So with the Loanopoly, this showing the buyer the whole process of buying. Now, remember what I said about the customization? Here's where you can customize. I have to enable editing. And this is where, if you don't like the logo being there, which some agents, they prefer not to have the power agent logo. I think that's a mistake. Or if you want to put your photo, put your contact information, so that way you can edit. You use it as a promotional piece. You use it on an appointment. But I will show you one other thing. And while I'm doing this, Julia, hopefully I can find it really quick.
Okay.
And then go to the next question.
All righty.
Is the seller's guide. I want to show you guys the seller's guide and the buyer's guide, because there's something really powerful about those guides. And Julie, where's the seller's guide? The actual guide. There's the buyer's guide. So I'm going to open up the buyer's guide and the seller's guide. Gang, I want to show you something really powerful that speaks to the whole process and showing buyers and sellers. But while those files are opening, because they're huge, I'm going to go to the next question and then I'll come back to that. Go ahead, Julie. What's the next question?
What features cost extra for your program? The newsletters, the CRM?
Yeah, Pat. So there's nothing extra in our program, period. Okay. That's the training, the flyers, everything else. Now, we're not a tech company. If you need a CRM because you don't have one, well, you can go to Top Producer. You can go to Wise Agent. We aligned ourselves with a company called Exact Contact, and we asked them to customize one for our power agents that has a lot of our letters and flyers in the software. So Exact Contact, which is called Power Builder, that's $49. But that's not ours. That's Exact Contact written for ours. Our program, there's no extra charge. RedX is another company that's not us. We're not part of them. They charge a monthly depending on what you order. What we did is negotiate a great deal for you. The other thing is with the CRM, we negotiated a better price than if you went directly to Exact Contact and got it that way. So I hope that answers the question.
It does. Thank you. If I try RedX for 30 days, do I get a better deal signing up as a power agent?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And
you get the tools to use to when you're working with those leads.
Exactly. Here's what I want to show you. The buyer's guide, gang. Remember the question was showing the process for buyers and sellers. This is the guide that we created for buyers. The seller file is still opening. And you'll see how this section is understanding the market, pre-purchase preparation, let the house hunting begin. After they find the house, how to make an offer, how to purchase, and the closing. So we wrote this guide that basically explains step by step. Here's the first. Is this a good time to buy? And addressing that concern, getting ready to buy, making sure your FICO score, getting your docs in a row. So this guide is written like a workbook for buyers from start to finish, okay? The seller's guide, I don't know if it's open yet, and I have a feeling it's not. It is still loading because that guide is huge. So let me go to the next question, and I'll show you the same thing.
Is RedX better than LandVoice?
Yes. So here's how we work at our company is that when we only recommend vendors that we really vet, and then we stand behind it. We vouch for that vendor. I'll be honest with you, like RedX, somebody at one of our power agents had a problem with a misunderstanding with RedX, and they got upset. And so they came to me and said, Darryl, I'm upset, and here's was my expectation. So I reached out to RedX, bada bing, it got handled. So the vendors that we work with, we have a tight relationship. They'll do for my power agents things that they wouldn't do for other people. But we don't recommend companies that aren't good, right? So like LandVoice versus RedX, LandVoice has always wanted me to promote them. And I don't, because RedX is, I think, better. Next question.
Part of what we do to vet is we make sure that their customer service is strong. That's our big ticket item, right?
Yeah, we have like certain checklists of where we'll approve a vendor, and one of them is integrity. Number 2 is customer service, communication. Number 3 is they give a better deal for power agents they wouldn't give anywhere else. So we have a checklist of things to become a vendor with us. Next question.
When you're doing your farm area calculator, should you consider current agent sales in the farm area? Trying to decide how to pick a farm area. Ooh, it's one of my favorite topics.
Jennifer, that's a really an in-depth question. And I'm going to direct you to a place in the Power Program that's going to answer it for you. So if I'm just trying to decide how to show it to you. Now the site's getting really slow because there's so many. This happens every webinar. Like it starts off fine and then it gets slow because we have so many people hitting it at the same time. So if I go to farming and self-promotion, there's going to be in there is that calculator. And the calculator will answer the question. I said, Jennifer, it's Janier, I think, how you say that. And in that, it will show you which is the best farm area. There's a spreadsheet. Let me go this way. I'll show it to you this way. So give me a second. In farming, future business, right here. So in the Power Program website under farming, you will find the farm area calculator. And there's a video that will talk you through this, and you'll punch in all your numbers, the average commission in the market, the average sales price, the turnover rate, how many listings, how many sales, and it'll tell you which is the best area. So Janir, it's a big question that you asked, and it's going to take some time and customize to figure it out.
And we have a webinar on demand, Janir, that solely goes into how to choose a farm area and farming and how to make the most of that. So you'll definitely want to watch that as well as use the calculator, because that's really going to give you some expert insights.
Yep. Next question.
Arlene says, is it okay to drop off letters rather than mailing them?
No, yeah, I would not drop off a letter. I would drop off a flyer, but not a letter. Like if it's a letter and it looks like a letter and it's put in an envelope with an address on it, to not put a stamp on it at that point is lowbrow. Like it's not good to do that. It's actually, I think that would actually hurt you because it'll look like you're trying to save money on a stamp. And
you're also not allowed to put things in people's mailboxes. So you would have to tuck it in a door or something like that. So
exactly.
Will the CRM do automatic Facebook ads or pay-per-click Google ads?
It will not do ads. Oh, that's Eric Riley. Hey, Eric Riley. Shout out to you, buddy. Hope all is well. Eric, the CRM just does social media posting, not advertising. There's Sarah, if you make a note to me to remind me, I'll send a message to Eric about I think it's Ylopo. That's the one. I was trying to think of the company. Ylopo, I think, is the one that does social media advertising, paying for ads. And so check that out, Eric. Ylopo. Next question.
If I'm already a power agent and I sign up for the CRM with website, the whole package, what is the cost, please? And who do I contact to get this going?
Yeah, so there's the cost for the power agent is nothing for the first 30 days. And then after that, the most it would be $49. There's a less price, which would be if you didn't want to do the social media posting, but that's the worst case is the $49. There's a couple of ways to do it. Wow, I just noticed some, boy, it's really, nope. Let me just go here. What you can do is if you go to the classroom and then you click on Power Builder, or is it CRM? Sorry, Julie. CRM. Yeah, if you go to Classroom and then you go to CRM, that will bring you to the page to start your account. Now, when you start your account for the CRM, they will, and by the way, I do have to interrupt myself and say something. The fact that you all are asking about the CRM and this, I love this, because if there was any time for you to work on your business and these systems and getting organized, that now's the time. Getting the dot board up and running, the CRM, your advertising, like Eric asked. I'm going to encourage all the power agents to really go to the time and money management, because you're going to see some other charts that I didn't get to talk about today that you may want to implement in your business to stay focused, to manage your time more effectively. Okay. By the way, here we have this incredible chat. So if you have any questions about the CRM and setting it up, you can use this chat function. Now, our chat is the best. I love our chat because it's real human beings. It's not automated. And I'm going to tell you how our chat system works. When you fill out the chat there, you type in, every computer in our company goes bling like a doorbell, ding dong. And it means, hey, somebody's at the chat. And you'll ask your question, and my entire team, they read it. And whoever is the best one to address your concern or thing will jump in and take over the conversation. So you are well taken care of by our company. Now, you can always call us too. There's a phone number on every page at the top, the 800 number. You will get a voicemail. You'll get directed. But we do listen. We do answer the phone. We do respond back. We're really strong with that. I think that answers the CRM. Oh, one other thing. The CRM, the company I told you is Exact. That's the company that we contracted. They will help you if you have a CRM that you're not happy with and you have to get your leads into there from the old CRM into this one. I think they'll actually do it for you. The customer service is red carpet with these people. So anyway, next question.
I love it. Actually, as long as you're right there with the chat, we've had quite a few questions I've been answering individually on how do I rejoin if I was a past power agent, and that chat is exactly where you would go, and we will get you hooked up and reconnected. So thanks for sharing that.
That's how you do it. You send a message saying, hey, I'm a past power agent. I want to rejoin. You need to type it in because as a rejoin, you don't get that 30-day trial because you already had it at some point. So we have to just reactivate your account.
And that's also where we've got brokers that are on the line and brokers that want to have a lot of their agents join. That's exactly where you would do that as well. Lisa says, I've been sending mailers for months with no success. I'm going to start making calls. My broker says it's okay to call, but I'm concerned about regulations, no call list, that kind of thing. Are there any suggestions you might have to ensure I'm stay regulated and out of jail?
Yeah, so I'm going to record that as well about can you call somebody who's on the do not call list. But I will answer it now in case you're not a power agent. Number one is you have to do what your broker tells you to do. All right. It goes like this. It goes God, then Department of State, then your broker, and then me. Now you'll notice NAR and our associations are not in that. Okay. And I just want to be clear. I love our association. I love the people that work there, especially on the state level, but they don't manage our licenses. Our Department of State does, and your broker and me, I'm just giving you my opinion. But when I give you my opinion, I actually hire my law firm and they do research for me. So that way I can speak with conviction. And here's what I can tell you. If somebody's on the do not call list and they advertise their house for sale, all bets are off. You 100% can call them because the do not call list is in reference to you cannot solicit people, which doesn't apply to us. We are not selling anything. That's number one. We're not selling magazines or stocks all over the phone. That's solicitation. We're not trying to sell aluminum siding or a new roof. That's solicitation. What we're doing is we are licensed agents who are just calling about a house for sale that the homeowner advertised. You have buyers that you represent as well. You could be calling for a buyer, representing them possibly. So anyway, if people get twisted about the do not call list, you absolutely can call. Now, if your broker says you can't, then you can't. Then don't, because they're the owner of that company and they dictate the rules. I hope that clarifies it a little bit. Next question.
I think so. Steve had a question about the Red X as the DNC list, and I think you've covered that.
Now, Steve, I will tell you, Red X, though, they tell you when you look at the list. Let me go to that screenshot that I showed. Give me a second here. With Red X, so this is what when you log into your account, that's what this looks like. So you'll notice here, there's folders over to the left, expireds, FSBOs, foreclosures, others. Now they have other folders like pre-foreclosures, the houses for rent. That's missing here. But anyway, that's the general sense. Now, what it doesn't show you here in this screenshot is there is a tab over to the side. Anybody that's on the do not call list, it'll tell you. So if you're looking at the leads to call and your broker says do not call list people, then you'll know right away. So they've already checked it and scrubbed it for you. Next question, Julie.
Actually, in our webinars on demand, we just recently did a training that was about an hour and a half with a fellow from Red X that was just really powerful. He went into depth about that. He talked about, there it is with Tyler. And he goes into depth about the do not call list. He also talked about how they have a service where they'll do the role playing with you. It's just an incredible webinar. So you guys should watch that if you haven't yet taken advantage of it.
Julie, when is the next brainstorming for the power agents?
It is coming up. It is Sarah. I don't have my calendar open.
The next brainstorm?
The next brainstorm, yeah.
Next Thursday, right?
Yes, December 9th.
The brainstorm sessions, power agents. So it's next Thursday. I'm going to show you where to register. I'm going to tell you something. I mean, this is a horrible picture because nobody's smiling. Like, could we look at the pushes we got on here? But anyway, this brainstorming. Every time we do it once a quarter, and it is off the hook awesome because this is not coaching call. This is like agents are just sharing what they're doing. And let me show you, this is what came out of the last one that we did. It was 60 ideas. I got to tell you something. This one PDF is worth a full year of the Power Program membership for 47. And what my team does is they summarize the call. Julie works so hard on this. And wherever possible, we put hyperlinks to things that are referenced. So if I were to click right on that Rently app, it'll bring me right to their site. There's 60. It's really quite awesome. So anyway, so the next brainstorming session, I'll show you how to get to that. So Power Agents, when you log into the classroom, you'll see webinar registration. And when you click on webinar registration, it'll bring you to the page that shows all of the webinar trainings, like today's was on there, and it's loading. So this is the coaching call on Monday. This is our Q&A on Tuesday. This is today's webinar. This is next week's webinar on how to avoid money stealing mistakes and master your time and help you this year. There's the brainstorming session next Thursday. Then the next webinar after that is your 2022 marketing calendar. By the way, that's going to be awesome. So that is, I love this marketing. We do this one every quarter, and it's one of my favorite ones to teach. Next question, Julie.
Sandra says, I just signed in. I'm very excited. I love the program and the amount of material. Thank you. You've got me motivated. Here I come, 2022. I love it.
Awesome. Now, listen.
I love it.
Now, new Power Agents, let me just tell you, do not get overwhelmed by this. If there is one caution that I have is sometimes people can get overwhelmed because they don't expect for $47 a month when they first sign up that there would be as much as there is. Because it's ridiculous the amount of great content we have. This is why we added that. So number one, don't get overwhelmed. Number two, that's why we added this little feature called favorite. Like when you click on a favorite, it goes in a separate folder for you. So when you look at all of this content, these are flyers, these are checklists, these are e-guides, these are guides to use in your marketing. And then there's going to be letters that you can customize. And when I say customize, like if you don't like a sentence or a word in a letter, you can take it out. So it's fully customizable. So don't get overwhelmed. Here's something else for new Power Agents. In the classroom, there's this thing called onboarding. And this onboarding system will help you to get acclimated to the program, to show all the hidden nuggets. So I highly encourage you to do that as well. And take your time. Don't get overwhelmed. Listen, this is true Power Agents, and not just Power Agents, the guests as well. Here's a philosophy. Can you improve 10% in 30 days? Sure you can. And if you did that again and again and again, in 12 months, you would have improved 120%. So inch by inch, life's a cinch, yard by yard, it's hard. Don't get overwhelmed and think you've got to do all this. Just do a little bit each and every week, each and every month, and you'll become a stronger agent. We're building careers here at Power Headquarters, and you don't build a career overnight. It takes time, right? Okay, next question.
Where do I find the onboarding? And just a little note on the onboarding as well. You know, this is just a great way to build good habits as well, especially as we're going into the new year, right? This is a great way to just set up those good habits that are going to lead you to success.
Absolutely.
So onboarding is in the classroom, Patricia. You're going to go, like you said, it's alphabetical. So you're going to go down to onboarding, O for onboarding.
Now, so there's two things on this classroom page. There's the listing and selling of real estate, and then there's support material for you, right? So objection handling is like listing and selling real estate, servicing sellers, time management, negotiating offers, the listing appointment, farming and self-promotion. Then there's other things that's just part of the training, like the Facebook, the directory, greeting cards to mail out if you want, the onboarding, your logo, Red X, prospecting. The prospecting is a listing and selling. But anyway, you get the point. By the way, RPR, love RPR. It's an NAR product that is free to realtors. We created a whole special training. We hired them to come in and help Power Agents about that. Okay, next question, Julie.
Yes, just can you scroll up for just a minute, because we had a question earlier that I accidentally published and now I can't find it. Are the coaching calls recorded? So they are,
yes.
And that's where you'll find them.
Yeah. So if you go to coaching calls under classroom, that's where I didn't even talk about taking notes. If you click on this, watch this. It opens up a little notepad for you to keep like your own little notes. So if you're on the website and so every time you log in, that's your notebook that's just for you. So I always forget to talk about that. That's a cool little feature. And you can print it and you can open it up in Word. Okay. This is where all of the coaching calls are. They're in that tab called coaching. Okay.
Perfect. Rachel just signed up. Yay. She has a full-time job where she manages residential buildings. Not sure she'll be able to attend everything. She just wants to confirm that everything is recorded. Everything is recorded. So coaching calls you're going to find in coaching calls. Webinars are going to be in webinars on demand. You can go back in the Facebook group as well if you prefer watching something like a live stream. That our coaching calls are live streamed in the Facebook group as well. So
now let me show you guys something. Let me show you guys something. The webinars on demand, like Julie said, they're all recorded. There is so much content here that you have access to. Now, here's what happens. Like, okay, how to find fence-sitting sellers, hidden listings. So if I just click on that, and I'll show you, this is what would happen on every one of these. There is the recording for you that you can watch at your own pace, and you can download the slides, which I highly encourage you to do, because then you can print them out. And while you're watching me go through the slides, you can take your own notes. So it's like self-training, if you will, in that regard. So
and that's a little easier too, because you can stop and go. You're not stressed about taking this. But also, if you go back one, we have so many. It's not just Darryl training, right? We have so many guest speakers that come in. At least twice a month, we have guest speakers come in, or a brainstorming session on lots of topics. We just had one on agent safety that was illuminating for sure, with an industry expert. We had Tyler Fenn from RedX. We had, our friend in the financial industry. So we've got lots of topics that happen that are Power Agent only webinars that really are in-depth deep dives into different training.
I'm going to tell you one of our favorites. I'm just looking for it right now. Is there's the REO RPR training that we did, and but this one here, gang, was one of our favorites. April's and mine is Christy Murdoch. The 5 mistakes you might be making in your property descriptions, how to fix them. That was really enlightening. There was some fair housing things that she addressed as well. But anyway, that was one of my favorites. And this is great. Curbio. Curbio. Love it. If they're in your area. So anyway, I can go on. The program is just, I'm so proud of it. And, for those of you that are not Power Agents yet, I invite you to give yourself this holiday gift. As a matter of fact, this is a gift that actually you'll be giving your family. And the reason why is because, your family wants more of you. And sometimes we operate from this fear of scarcity or worry and stress, and trying to make our business work. So, we're here to help you to have less stress and more fun, to design a life and career worth smiling about. That is our company culture. That's what we're committed to. So we've got your back. You won't be alone here, and we'll help you get to that next level. So this is a great present you give yourself and to your family. And that's all I got on this. Are we done with the questions?
Rebecca, I tried to answer her. I guess she didn't see it in the publish. She wants to know, how do you find a Facebook closed group as an agent? Okay. So I think she's talking about the groups for the neighborhood.
As an agent, hang on, I'm reading her question. As agent, what will closed Facebook groups help us out with? So the question's a little choppy, so we're going to try and answer what we think you're asking. When you're in a closed Facebook group in your community, what you can do is, by you helping other people with questions that they have about, they need a landscaper, they need an electrician. Like when you can participate in a Facebook closed group and comment and help people and serve people, and you keep doing that, your name's going to be recognized in that Facebook closed group. And I'm talking about the Facebook closed group that's in your community. So for example, I live in Wading River. We have a closed Facebook group called the Shoreham Wading River Community Group. So it's basically, my farm area is on Facebook. So I would prospect that group by helping with ideas that people need. So that's the idea. Okay.
Yes. And if what you're asking is how does ours help you? It's an incredible community of agents. So agents are sharing referrals in there. They're helping each other answer questions. They're referring different products and services. They're inspiring each other. They're helping each other win. There's, celebrate. It's just a really tight knit. So you just said it, Darryl. It's how you don't feel alone in this business, which can feel kind of lonely sometimes, right?
Exactly. I mean, some of this stuff too, like I go in there when I can, and when I see somebody, first of all, I'll post articles that are from recognized publications to help power agents to use with buyers and sellers. And we tag that with a hashtag article. So that way you can find all the articles that I posted. And these articles are designed for you to use with a buyer or with a seller to show them why now's a good time to buy or why is a good time to sell. There's a lot of Zillow I'm showing you right now because that was the hot topic when Zillow got out of the iBuyer thing. And so that's just one of the things that we use the place for. But one of the power agents, Julie, she posted, where is it? She posted that she just did her first video. Oh, here, I think it's up here. I'm sorry. Hang on. Yeah. Dawn, she said, I went through a power agent directory and found a nearby agent and I had worked with, anyway, she told me to rip the Band-Aid off and make a video. So I went to her website and then I saw the video. Anyway, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Anyway, I called to Julie and I was so proud of her because it was a really good video, gave her some suggestions. So anyway, sometimes I like to surprise power agents with a phone call for me to give them some one-on-one coaching really quick. So.
I love it. Where do you get those articles from? So you find them all the time, but if you're in the Facebook group, you can do hashtag articles and they'll pull those up.
Yes. If you're in how I just did it is I just clicked on the first article that I found, right? So this is the first one I posted yesterday and I'm going to be posting another one tomorrow. But if you just click on the hashtag, all the articles that I posted in the Facebook closed group will show up. So, okay.
Ricky,
now, some of these get dated.
Early birthday present, becoming a power agent. Happy birthday, Ricky, and welcome. I love it.
All right. Anything else? Any other questions? All right. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to let you guys go before we hit a record-breaking webinar of almost 2 hours. And so for those of you that are still contemplating the program, listen, I hope that, let's do it this way. This is going to sound bad. Let's say I'm wrong about how helpful this program could be. Your worst exposure right now would be $5. Sorry. I can probably figure out where you've wasted more than $5 on things that you had no chance of getting any kind of good return on. Everything that you see on the screen right now is a gift that we're giving you just to consider us and to try us for a month. And you don't even have to. You can try for a couple of days, cancel your account. You get to keep everything. We're going to email it to you today. And I hope you don't do that. I hope that you give this program a chance. This is a great time to do it before January. Before the new year. And the reason why is because this is a time for you to work on your business. December is the month to become a power agent, truly. Okay. I hope this helped you, gang. Listen, thanks for spending the time with us. Click on that thing. I'm about to say goodbye. When I say goodbye, this webinar will shut down. So please click on that floating bar to bring yourself to the website so you can continue the process to become a power agent. I thank you for spending your time with us. The last thing I want to say is, remember, we don't just help people buy and sell real estate. What we actually do is we help people get to their next level in their life. What you do is help change people's lives. And the money you make is merely a gauge as to how many lives you've touched. So focus on making a difference in people's lives. Focus on coaching, not closing, serving, and not selling. And the money will follow. Okay? Thanks for being with us today. Stay safe. Stay focused, and don't forget to keep smiling. Bye, everybody.